Hi everyone, my name is Matt Williams. I am a tutor here at the University of Oxford. I'm also what's known as the Access Fellow of Jesus College here at the university. Access Fellow means that I'm responsible for making the university and its colleges a bit more accessible to people that have historically been underrepresented. I'm here outside what used to be the Ashmolean Museum, but is now the History of Science Museum. The Ashmolean Museum is the oldest museum in the world. This is now, as I say, the site of the History of Science Museum, and that raises an interesting question, which is, isn't science the future? Isn't the only really sort of useful stuff to be studying for the future what we might now call STEM subjects, or science, technology, engineering and maths? Is there in short any point in learning Latin or Greek or modern languages like Arabic, Chinese and Portuguese? You can study all of these things here in Oxford, but why would you, given that no one speaks Latin and Google Translate is so good that it doesn't seem necessarily a great deal of necessity in learning some of these modern languages if you want to be able to communicate with those sort of societies? And what about more broadly subjects like geography? How could you use that? How can you instrumentalize your studies in a way that could actually be valuable to yourself and the community? This is a really important question, and huge shout out to the London Nautical School that asked me to make this video. If you're from a school and you'd like something similar, do get in touch, I'd be happy to help. Anyway, the key point is about utility. How can you make these sorts of degrees utility? Someone like Boris Johnson, who studied classics, so that's Latin and ancient Greek here in Oxford, what was he doing wasting his time with that? Did he actually obtain any added value, any sort of practical utility in his current job from studying those subjects? Or Riz Ahmed, the actor who studied philosophy, politics and economics here in Oxford, did he actually take anything of practical utility from that? I mean, even something that is STEM, like mathematics. Rachel Riley studied mathematics here in Oxford. She would have been able to access courses like algebraic topology. She doesn't use that to resolve the arithmetic problems in the countdown. So what is the point in studying these quite abstract, quite obtuse subjects at university level? Wouldn't we be better off teaching our students incredibly practical, skills-based subjects like, I don't know, graphic design or forensic criminology, or just coding? Just teach them coding. That's all anyone's going to be doing in the future, right? We're all just going to be robot farmers, and coding is the only thing that will be of any practical value, right? Well, no, of course not. We don't just cling to these subjects because we don't have the imagination to think of doing anything different. The reason that we use academic subjects like this and we continue to teach them is because they have enormous value, enormous practical utility. And that's because they provide you with fantastic transferable skills. Now, a transferable skill is one where you develop it almost by accident and you can apply it elsewhere. So if you study something like Latin or Greek, you're going to get to study the amazing history and culture of those ancient civilizations. And in the meantime, you're going to learn skills like communication, presentation, data process and management. Just the simple accumulation of an extraordinary amount of data and information in one place and packaging it in a way that you can share with an audience, that's incredibly useful. Also, in theory, it's going to be more enjoyable for you. You're going to be picking something that you actually care about, you find interesting. So it'll be a little bit like if someone asked you, would you like to take lots of long theoretical classes on how to make friends, or would you rather go to a playground and make friends there? You know, you can either do something that is incredibly focused on the practical application and development of skills, or you can learn those skills but in a context that you find much more engaging and enjoyable. The other thing to bear in mind is that when you learn something in a context that you find enjoyable, you learn it to a higher level because your energy and motivation will be much more enhanced. You won't be bored, in short. And that means that what you learn will give you greater confidence when you are confronted with a new problem that you have to solve. One of the key benefits of studying abstract academic subjects is that it helps you master doubt, and doubt is all around us. It's basically the human condition. We just don't know what's going to happen next or how we're best suited to deal with it. So we need to have the capacity and the confidence to resolve doubt. So that doubt could be how am I going to grow my business? Or it could be, how am I going to solve my clients' problems in a legal context? Or it could be, how are we going to ensure that this charity gets help to the people that most need it? These are all questions that are difficult to resolve. And you could take courses at university on how to solve those specific questions. Or you could learn about the rise and fall of the Roman Empire, and it would teach you all of those skills, but in an incredibly engaging way. And then you can apply it all over the shop. So graduates of universities like Oxford have studied these quite obtuse, abstract degrees for 900 years. And we're not clinging on to them because that's all we know how to do and we can't be bothered to come up with something more practically minded. It's because they are incredibly valuable. And there's a significant implication about this for access, which is that a lot of students coming from lesser privileged backgrounds in particular tend to focus their interests around our most competitive degrees, the degrees that seem to have a much more obvious practical value to them, things like medicine, things like law. The problem is that those subjects are our most competitive, or amongst our most competitive, and so those applicants are making their life a little bit harder. It's also not always obvious that those applicants really care about those degrees. It's often the case that they are applying because they are looking for something that is a safe bet. They may be the first person in their family to go to university, and they don't necessarily feel confident in applying for something that may be considered a bit out there by their family, by their peers. But the thing is that if you study anything at a university like this, you will be very employable. And it may be that doing a subject you've never studied before, or one that doesn't have quite such an obvious vocational payoff, could open your eyes to new possibilities, could develop those skills you need, and could bring out the confidence in you to solve the doubt that is all around you. So do some careful research as to what's available. Think about how you can develop skills in a way that you will enjoy yourself doing so, and don't get so worried about the narrow focus on practical application of skills, because you will learn skills at a university like Oxford at the very highest level, and you'll probably do it by accident. Okay, I hope that makes sense, but if you've got any suggestions for future videos or any questions or comments, do please put them in the comment box below. Thank you so much for watching. All the best. Bye.